Oh my God, I don't know. I don't even think I could live in an anime. To be real,
What about like a cartoon?
cartoon, shoot, even those are a little wacky. Getting hit on the head with anvils and shit, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't think I would live in cartoon.
Not Ed, Ed and Eddie? Not Powerpuff Girls?
Ed and Eddie, uh, seems painful in that Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Seems like you get hurt a lot. Invader Zim, you feel like you get hurt a lot. Johnny Bravo,
Emotionally devastating?
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I deal with that on a daily, so
Okay. So Johnny Bravo. So
I don't know about Johnny Bravo. Actually, I take that back.
that was kind of a problematic show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Was it?
2022, yeah.
In 2022 is a problematic show.
I think so. I think that's a fair statement.
Maybe Rugrats.
Rugrats would
They
be
don't.
cool.
They don't really get hurt in the Rugrats, but I don't know. Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly Odd Parents, you get fairies and shit.
But if you're in Fairly Odd Parents, does that mean you have to be Timmy, or are you still Denzel?
Oh man, that means no. And everything's going good. I'll probably be the Chip Skylark of that shit or something. I don't know. Hi, I'm Denzel Curry, and you're now tuned in to Carbon Town. Well, I mean, first I was a film student when I was going to Dash before they kicked me out, so that was always been my thing when it came down to movies. It's just that with this particular album, I wanted to show like my hobbies along with everything that was going on, and I just had to find a unique way to blend it. So of course, like it played like a big role when it came down to the movies because everything that I was watching in quarantine mainly was like sci-fi movies and spaghetti westerns that influenced them. So basically watching The Good and Bad and the Ugly and Yo Jimbo and things like that ended up being on the album because I was just like, studying those movies and the techniques that Akira Kurosawa was doing. And I wanted to show those techniques, not only sonically, but I wanted to show those techniques visually. So when they see any of those videos like Zatoichi or like Walking or Troubles, which was a Wes Anderson film, I wanted people to really like relate to it because like the music was already relating to it the way I was putting it together. All music has to be like that, to me at least. But then again, you got music that do show it visually, but they don't have to tell a story. I mean, all music does that in some way. If it doesn't evoke any emotion or like if it doesn't like show a vision of what you can see, then I don't think you're gonna do a job. You gotta evoke something out of you. Realness, you know what I'm saying? I wanted them to relate to what I was going through because, I'm not a perfect person, obviously. But I didn't mind writing it, even if it got really dark. And when it came down to writing it, I wrote it anyway because I knew somebody out there was like going to relate to what I was going to say. And once people heard the album, I was like, okay, people really like this album. And then the more they keep listening to it, the more they started to like it even more, even more, and even more, and even more. And I was like, okay, I'm not alone in this. And then they just tell me like, bro, you saved my life and walk in, like help me like get through whatever I needed to get through. And I was just like, man, that's dope. Like I screw up sometimes, but when it comes down to my music and stuff like that, I know somebody's gonna relate to it. And I feel like that's important that I write a message. But at the end of the day, I'm not a perfect person. But real shit I said on the album, oh man, it's just so much stuff I said on that album that's been real, but they all pertain to another situation. I think the realest thing I said, accountability. I take responsibility for all my actions. I pack them in these soliloquies. Just because we're not friends don't mean we're enemies. Thank you all for listening. Sending y'all with good energy. Because even if I don't like you, I mean, I don't want you to die. I had a tweet where somebody was like, your music used to make me, some dude was like, your music used to make me live, and now you're just me and shit. And I was just like, okay, so die. Like, I didn't tell you to die, like kill yourself, but like, okay, nigga, like, you pretty much set yourself up for that one.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like just responding to tweets and stuff like that?
Sometimes it's funny, and people feel like it's weak when you respond. I'm like, why is it weak when, okay, because I'm supposed to be bigger than you, I can't respond now, so I'm supposed to take your shit? You know what I'm saying? I don't have to take your shit. You know what I'm saying? If anybody's gonna take a shit, it's gonna be me in that bathroom over there. But other than that, I don't have to take your shit. You feel me? But people are like, you can't do this to me. I don't gotta do anything to you. There's many people that would come to my defense because you're a dick. But at the end of the day, you're a confused fan at the end of the day. Some things, we just don't like because either they got something or we're confused, like, why everybody like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody told me like, haters aren't hating on you for no reason. Those are just confused people that may like your music. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just confused fans. They don't like think about what a hater is. It's like they love you and they hate you at the same time, but they don't know which one to go with. So they're gonna keep attacking you, but the moment you like do something that's like gonna shift their knowledge, they're gonna be like, oh, okay. Like I may not like all his stuff, but I really agree with him, or I like this song from him. You know. Well, it's cathartic for me because like when I didn't have therapy or I didn't like go to church like that, that's all I had. Mainly it came from poetry as a kid, right? But really it came from like just me like writing all my feelings and thoughts, which started back when I was in the clan and whatnot, and just like going in and showcasing pain. And I wanted to showcase all the things that I was dealing with as time progressed. Even though as a kid I was just like, I want to be the best rapper and this, that, and the third. I wasn't even trying to be the best rapper then. I was trying to be a threat. But the more I kept writing, and when I met Mark, he pretty much like helped me guide my pen into writing better stuff and better stories. And my favorite part about getting older is the wisdom that comes with it and the stuff that you learn from experience. But the bad thing about getting older, you age.
What do you mean by that?
You're gonna get old. You know what I'm saying? Like it's inevitable. You know, the best fighter, the fastest fighter is gonna eventually slow down. You know, but the technique keeps being refined over time, and once that happens, you become like really better, really good at your craft, like even great at your craft. But the only thing is, Father Time, you know, gonna put a halt to whatever you're doing at some point. I just did what comes naturally, but you always gotta be consistent with whatever you're doing. So that's why I would tell an artist when he's coming up, like if you got something good going on, be consistent and keep evolving with the style. The more consistent you are and persistent on like getting it done, you will always evolve in your craft. You know, don't rush it. Just let it happen. Just let it flow. Because at the end of the day, there's 1 billion, maybe 1 trillion people that's out there that looks at you right now and probably don't like you and wants to take your spot or wants to wipe you off the face of the earth because they feel like they deserve that spot and not you. So you always got to remain consistent, be humble, and just keep going. I mean, yeah, like when it comes down to me being consistent with this, I'm damn near today is Saturday, right?
Yes, it is.
Hey, me and my manager, today is 10 years that we've been together. Today makes 10 years that we've been together. So when it comes down to being consistent, I'm consistent with being with my manager and everything else. Me and the same DJ and all the people that's around me, we all stay consistent with each other and just being partners, you know. And when it comes down to the music, you know, you don't want a good thing fall off. It's like what Kanye West said, don't leave while you're hot. That's how Mace screwed up. And I thought about leaving so many times. And then the moment I did leave, I watched a lot of people come before me, and I never thought about capitalizing off what I was doing. It wasn't until I made Clout Cobain and Taboo and stuff like that, and seeing the reception, how good it was, that I wanted to capitalize with Zoo, and then with Unlocked, and then later on, you know, 2 years off, Create. My Eyez, See Your Future, and the next year I'm gonna still be consistent in doing that and like keep going and keep going and keep going until I do my, you know, until the whole world knows what's up. I wanted to hang it up so many times because, you know, me, I'm sensitive. You know, a lot of people will be talking shit or like, you ain't better than this person, why are you still rapping and stuff like that. I have the tendency of paying attention to the negative more than I do the positive and stuff like that, and it gets to me because I'm like, I put my all into this just for a motherfucker who never did this in their motherfucking life to say it's trash. But that's just me, like, you know. And you know, I guess a lot of artists are like that. We pay attention. We get the positive all day, that when we see negative, we be like, why you ain't like the other ones, you know? But that's subjective. Everybody supposed to, you can't agree with everything, you know? Of course. Why not? Because like, bro, they don't like, you know, if I don't set a good example for them to be like, not like me, I don't want them to be like me at all. I want them to be, aspire to be better than me or like achieve greatness. That's what I want to set with the younger fans, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's like the average 15, 16, 17-year-old, you know, that like is trying to understand life at this moment, because this is a very confusing time for them. So they need somebody to look at. But I don't want them to idolize me or me being their hero because I'm an actual person. You know, like you could touch me. I'm here. I'm flesh and blood like them. You know, and that's where I want them to understand. Like, bro, I'm not fucking Jesus, bro. Jesus is the only perfect person on this motherfucking earth, and you know, I want them to see themselves as great. I know I'm great because I set that for myself. I know I'm a great person, and I'm great with what I do, and I'm very hard on myself when it comes down to things. But I want them to understand that they're great too, and that's what I want to channel with them. Even when it comes down to my fan base as a whole, like there are certain things I want my fan base to be part of. Like I'm very into martial arts, and a lot of them are like people that don't, you know, that go through things on a daily, but I know how much martial arts helped me, you know? And I wanted the whole fan base to be on some like, hey, we all just gonna put this stuff down and I'm gonna get my life together. I'm starting with martial arts, I'm starting lifting weights, I'm starting doing that. I'm gonna start going to church, I'm gonna start doing whatever it is I need to do to be the best. I'm gonna start doing what I wanna do as opposed to like, you know what I'm saying, being miserable. I don't want my fans to be miserable. I want them to be great people. I want them to achieve what they want to achieve. I want them to be doctors. I want them to be lawyers. I want them to be construction workers. I want them to be average, everyday people that enjoy their work and that enjoys their job, you know? And that's what the whole ULT stands for, to be the best person you'll be, you know? And pretty much, you could be a janitor, and you could say that's your dream job. But if you're gonna be a janitor, I want you to be the best janitor you can be, you know what I'm saying, and work your way up and be the best at that, you know? And next thing you know, you overseeing a whole plethora of janitors because you have your own company now, you know, where you send all these people out to work, you know? I want people to be great at what they do. You don't have to do exactly what I have to do, but I want you to be great at what you do. Oh shit, I don't know. I just watched this video of this guy going through different animes, trying to escape racism in each anime. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't seen it, but I can imagine.
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't even think I could live in an anime, to be real.
What about like a cartoon?
Cartoon? Shoot. Even those are a little wacky. Getting hit on the head with anvils and shit, and you know, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't think I would live in cartoon.
Not Ed, Edd n Eddy? Not Powerpuff Girls?
Ed, Edd n Eddy? Seems painful in Ed, Edd n Eddy, you know?
Yeah.
Seems like you get hurt a lot. Invader Zim, you feel like you get hurt a lot. Johnny Bravo?
Emotionally devastating?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I deal with that on a daily, so.
Okay. So Johnny Bravo. So
I don't know about Johnny Bravo. Actually, I take that back.
that was kind of a problematic show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it?
2022, yeah.
In 2022 is a problematic show.
I think so. I think that's a fair statement.
Maybe Rugrats.
Rugrats
They don't really get hurt in the Rugrats, but I don't know. Fairly Odd Parents, you get fairies and shit.
But if you're in Fairly Odd Parents, does that mean you have to be Timmy, or are you still Denzel?
Oh man, that means no, and everything's going good. I'll probably be the Chip Skylark of that shit or something. I don't know.
Okay. So I guess an easier question is, what's the one you would definitely not want to live in?
Ooh, Invader Zim for sure, and Billy and Mandy. Would never want to live in those. Super weird, you know. You got the Grim Reaper hanging out with two kids that are obviously mentally not well. You got one that's very intimidating and one that's a super idiot. And then you got Evil Incarnate doing crossovers and stuff like that with a guy that's like in his garden trying to take over the world and plotting on doing that. Then you have all these other elements from the underworld trying to get you and stuff like that. And Innsville always in trouble. I'm not living there, you know.
Fair point. Fair point.
Invader Zim, you got an alien that sucks at his job, so there's already room for devastation. You know what I mean? Pretending to be kids, like, and everybody's pretty much stupid because it's like, okay, this green kid, like, okay, obviously this guy's an alien. You know, his eye just came off just now. Like, are y'all serious? And y'all don't believe this other kid? But that kid's weird too. So I don't know if I'm gonna live with that because his, you know, stupid schemes is gonna get me in trouble too. So. No, plus the food looks disgusting. The way you see the way they eat food in Invader Zim, it's not good. And their pizza parlors and burger places, it's nasty. It just seems like a nasty place to live at. Nah, not Invader Zim. Best song that I never made, Human Nature by Michael Jackson.
What makes you say that?
Did you hear that song? Man, Michael Jackson is so beautiful that why Tell me that is human nature. Why would you do me that way? Like, it's so beautiful sonically, and then you have the beat behind it too. And it's on one of the best albums that he made, also, which was Thriller. Like, that's the best song I never made. But there's a song I made with Dr. Genius, but I gotta go back to it because I can't think of anything to sing. I don't have anything to say in the verses right now, but the hook is there and it sounds great. You know, it depends on the tracks. Usually, if it's like something I feel automatically and the words are already coming out, it doesn't take me that long to do it. But if it's like something that I really need to think about, it might take me days, maybe weeks or months for me to do that. Sometimes you come back to stuff that you haven't done in a whole year, and then you just kind of flow it all out, and then next thing you know, it's on your next project.
How does it feel when like you make a song and it's done, you're listening back to it?
I mean, I like it. When it comes down to finishing the song and I really like the song, you may like it in that moment, but you gotta do the next day test. The next day test is like, how is it gonna sound the next day? So that means I could like the song in the moment, but the next day, when I wake up, I gotta listen to it on fresh ears. Once I listen to it on fresh ears, then you'll know like if you like the song or not. It doesn't matter. Like usually it's just in my headphones and in the car. And that's mainly it. With me, it's like headphones or car. Those are like the two ideal places. Now I'm starting to get into like clubs and stuff like that and seeing what they like to play in clubs. And usually it's just like up-tempo stuff, you know? People could forget about their problems because they just want to have a good time. Clubs, people just don't want to think. They just want to vibe. Man, just a club. Just a club. There's not really no thing. As long as it's jumping, I'm cool with it. But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm not really a club going person. But it is what it is.
Any kind of music is cool?
Any kind of music, Latin music, as long as it's not like EDM, that shit is annoying. Like when you like toe up and it's like 3 a.m. and you hearing breast milk, like, I'm not trying to hear that at 3 in the morning, bro. I'm going home.
I like when they do that thing where like they start like playing Confessions by Usher and it's like these are my boom, 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 boom.
Oh, yeah, I know about those.
It's tough.
It is tough. Sometimes they be playing some dubstep music that's pretty good, and I'll be like, all right, that's tight. You feel me? What? Because you be in the corner with your homies and you start freestyling and shit because everybody having a good time, and then you was like, damn, you could actually do a dubstep song with like, sometimes inspiration come from like different things that you be like you never think you'll like, but and when you start freestyling to it, you'll be like, oh man, that actually works out. There was one memory when we first came to Minneapolis and our routing was the same as Trash Talks, which is a rock band, that's like Lee Spellman, Garrett, those guys. And basically, we ended up being at the same venue on the same night after leaving Chicago. So me, Uwe, Dylan Cooper, Azizi Gibson, all of us was in one side of the venue, and Trash Talk, they was on the bigger side. We went to their show first, and then when they got done before us. They came to our show and started moshing with us and like turning up. So that was like a really good memory also. Oh, it feels great, man, because like I know where I came from and I came a long way when it comes down to music. There's venues I've never done before where it's just like the whole ground floor is filled up, but the top is not filled up yet. But one day I will get that top floor. Once I get the top floor, then I start working on building arenas. Because I realized I'm doing the same venues that A$AP Ferg did years ago when I went on tour with him. And my thought is, yo, where do I go after that? I'm doing these venues, I'm doing this the way I want to do it. I can still be successful. And now I just want to think about, all right, cool, how do I get to arenas? That's my whole thing. My whole thing is like, how do I get to arena shows? How do I get the bread from arena shows? Like I did a tour with Billie Eilish, I did a tour with Suicide Boys, I did a tour with Kid Cudi, I did a tour with Run the Jewels. How do I get these arena shows? I gotta find that balance and how to push that out. And really it's just like putting it out there of who I am and being consistent, Well, mainly they were sending me the music and it was like, who you want to go on tour with you? And I was just like, it was kind of hard to decide. So it was just like, man, can we just put them in different spots or different legs of the tour? But bringing on Redfield, like you could feel a soul in his music. and like he makes all his own stuff, and he has his masters the same way I do. So it's kind of like, oh shit, I understand you. And then you got AG Club, which is just two guys that's just turning the hell up, and it kind of reminds me of the days of my youth. And then you have like De Niro, who I've been thugging it out with for like 10 years plus, you know. And then you have Play That Boy Zay, which is reminiscent of Carrot City because he's from Miami too. So, and he's like really doing his thing. And I was one of the guys that like I'm paved the way for him, and I know he's gonna pave the way for somebody else once he blows up. And he's consistent, like that same thing. All these guys are very consistent with their craft, and they all know how to put on a great show. Them doing a great job with their sets make me want to do a great job with mine, because you got to keep these guys close to you. You got to do that because they make me a hella performer, because they're they're like great performers. So, but I want to be the greatest. So keeping them together and they built that energy up, I have no choice but to explode, because those guys are explosive. We all got one purpose: to put on a great show. And that's why we all connect. And that's why I appreciate it. I remember in Nashville, everybody had a dope set. Yesterday, everybody had a dope set in Chicago. So I was like, no, these guys keep me on my shit, and I like that. 5 years, owning my own company. Like, I'm talking about, like, you know how Tyler Perry got his own company and it has like, makes billions of dollars. That's how I'm gonna do it. Not like Tyler Perry, obviously, but like I see myself as like being in TV production, mainly like working on comic books and stuff like that, animations, dealing with my shows, making their own anime houses, having my own studios and stuff like that, so people can come in and do voiceover work and whatever. Being like the Jim Henson, but mix that with like, you know, the comic book, like Image Comics kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? And like putting it all together. My family. That's the only thing that's important right to me right now. I don't care about nothing else. My family is like all I got. They the reason why I'm alive. Like, I love my family so much. Like, and at first, over the years, I didn't really like appreciate them. But like at the end of the day, like I love my family. Like I love my nieces. You know what I'm saying? I love my brothers. You know, and I always want to look out for them too. I love my mother and I love my father, regardless of what I deal with them on the daily, you know. But they love each other. I love them. I love my brothers. I love my nieces. I love pretty much my family that I have at home, my girl, my cousin, my dog. Like, I love all of them because they all kept me sane. I do want kids. I just know I'm going to end up having a daughter, so I got to teach her about niggas like me. And I want to be like the best person, like a role model to that. And right now, I'm like, I'm 27, so I got time.
What makes you so sure that it's going to be a daughter as opposed to a son?
My mama had all boys, and my brothers had all girls. It's inevitable. It skips a generation. My mama had nothing but sisters and a couple brothers, but she had all boys. And my brothers had nothing but girls. No doubt I'm going to end up having a girl. And if I have a boy, that's going to even be worse, because I got to teach them how to like treat women and treat them the right way and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my kids to go through what I went through or make the same mistakes I made. I want them to be better than me. I do Muay Thai. I've been in Muay Thai for like 5 years, going on 6. And basically I got into it because, well, my brother was a backyard fighter, obviously. He was in this movie called Dogfight with Dada 5000. He passed away, unfortunately. And then you have my father. My father was in the Marines, and he used to box when he was really young, and he used to box in the Marines as well. And he was like showing me and my brothers how to throw a proper punch when we was mad young. And, showing us like hip toss and stuff like that, like a little bit of judo. And I got into it when I met my homie Big Denzel around the corner. So I was little Denzel around my block. And then we had Big Denzel. Big Denzel was showing me how to do mixed martial arts. And he was teaching me that for like a couple summers and stuff like that. And I would always go to this house and learn. And that's how I learned how to like really throw a proper like punch and kick initially. And then I met this guy named Timothy Lofton. And he showed me how to do karate when I was working with him. And this other dude named Vaughn, who was a really good friend, he's like related to my homie Paul. He was a kickboxer, and we would all spar each other every day. Me, my brother, Timothy's god brothers and stuff like that, like Jeremy and Chris. and we will all be at the cage just like going ham. And my homie Adrian, like he'll be boxing as well. So that's how I learned a lot of this stuff. And then I put it down, put it to the side to take rapping serious. And then when I made enough money, I went back and ended up signing for Muay Thai when I stopped smoking weed. You need that cardio. It's a lot of cardio. And even 50 Cent said, you have to condition yourself. Every artist, every person on this earth should condition themselves like a boxer. Boxing is nothing but a chess match. So is MMA, so it's like Muay Thai, it's a chess match. You gotta predict, you know what I'm saying, where you're gonna go. Like, every fight should feel like a conversation. It should never feel like an argument. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna throw something that's gonna question you, and you gotta answer back with something, right or wrong, you know? But you'll eventually figure it out.
So, getting back to talking about your younger fans, if this camera was a fan and you're speaking to them right now, you can only give one piece of advice to them, or just like one thing in life, what would you say?
Be smart, work hard, and keep faith.
I think we got it. I really hope we were pressing record, but if we weren't, it was a good conversation anyway. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck with the performance.